build a life and business legacy on purpose through mindset, branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team so they can make an amazing impact and income and positively affect their communities worldwide. Ensure that you are sharing this show, you're subscribing, and you also are leaving us a review so we can create more amazing content around those areas to help you level up to the next level and also bring amazing guest experts that can share their knowledge and expertise with you so that you can create amazing legacy. All right, legacy builders, welcome back to another show. Today, we're going to talk about how to step into your future identity so that you can create the life that you want. We're all about purposeful intentionality here at this show. So I'm so excited to have actually one of our amazing community experts today, Michelle Margaret Marcus, and she will share with us how to do just that, how to actually first figure out what is that identity that's going to serve our future version of ourselves, and then what are those steps that we need to take to get there. Michelle, thanks so much for coming on. I'm so excited to have a beautiful chat with you today, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here, actually.
I'm very excited to interview you and kind of, again, really have your amazing wisdom shared with us for people that are listening and they really need to understand, or maybe they're in that, step or phase or stage of life that they maybe are finding that inner conflict with what they want to create. So I'm so glad to have you here share that with us. So Michelle, let's start with an introduction. Can you share a few of the most meaningful moments that led you to the work that you're doing today?
Oh gosh, yeah. The meaningful moments is when someone really steps into that desire for their life, the real true core desire that they have, not a desire that follows anyone else's narrative or anyone else's expectations or societal, conformity. The desire that we really truly want when we allow ourselves to actually go there. Yeah.
Well, gosh, absolutely. Well, how did you get into this work? How do you know that this is the work that you purposely chose to do in the world?
Yeah, it was through actually a series of my own identity shifts, my own yearning for something more in my life. Going back a few years ago now, I was running a spa. I had my own skincare range that I had developed. I was working 7 days a week, single mom, and I was burned out. I was breaking down. I was emotionally drained, and I knew that I needed something else. I knew that something needed to be different. I'm working 7 days a week, still wasn't making ends meet. I wasn't making enough money still. Everything I was making was going back into developing this skincare brand, because it's a lot to develop a skincare brand, right? And I remember just sitting, feeling like I was going to break down, and I said, I need something else. So I spoke to my own coach that I had at the time, and she said, look, you need to make a decision. You need to make a decision that's based on what you want in your life and who you actually are meant to be. And she had already said to me, oh, Michelle, you're an incredible coach. And I was just like, no, I'm not. I'm just me. I just run my spa and do my, And she basically convinced me. So I trained, and ultimately I made the decision. I gave up my spa. I gave up my skincare brand. I gave up everything, actually. Talk about bold in our moves, in our gambit, as I like to call it. I gave up my entire life in the UK, all of my possessions, my house, my car, everything. Left the UK, made the decision that that's what I needed. That was the bold move that I needed to step into my future self. And left with 4 suitcases and my then 7.5-year-old daughter. Traveled to New York for 3 months, picked up clients on the way, started my practice, started building that, went to Canada for a few months, 5 months or so, did the same thing, kept picking up clients and doing workshops and doing different things, and then moved to Barbados, where I actually still live.
Mm.
So, and now,
Yeah, what a journey, and kudos to you for kind of listening to and getting that support, by the way, and listening to some of the signs from on the outside of your life that whatever you were doing was not really working for you, and on
yeah,
so many levels it sounds like, and the courage that you had to kind of just make that decision and bold move, even with support, and that's also absolutely fine as well to have someone that supports us in that scary leap of faith as we also probably hear some of those inner conflicts within us, and most people just stay in that situation or relationship or business opportunity or whatever have you, because of the, I call this a sunk cost, when you just feel like because you put in so much money, time and energy into something, you're like, I don't know if I want to let it go, and the more you do that, the more you kind of just stay stuck with that thing, because logically you feel like, okay, it's like I invested so much into this, but the best thing is to cut the cord and kind of move on and really take the leap of faith if you're feeling those pain points. So is that what your clients also feel like? What are some of those red flags that they also might be feeling that is leading them into the pain of kind of, okay, I need to make a change, I need to look for something new, but they might not know where to start, pretty much where you were probably a couple of years.
yeah. Elona, it's amazing, isn't it, how we end up coaching people that have the same challenges we had, and it's natural. The universe just does it. But yeah, that's why clients come to me, because they know that there's something more in their life. They want more success, they want more money, they want more peace, whatever that looks like to them, right? And they don't know where to start, but they know there's a voice. I call it the inner gambit, that move, that voice that's telling us this isn't what life is supposed to be. This isn't what I was put on this planet for. I wasn't put here to feel like I'm lost every single day and breaking down. I was put here for something much bigger.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I mean, I think it's only in integrity that we share our experiences from lived experiences. So I can absolutely see how our pain just becomes somebody else's compass later on down the line, right? So yeah, that's why this work that we do as coaches and consultants. I find it's purpose driven, because it's now that you have been through something personal yourself, you get to help someone else. That's giving back, that's contributing to society, that's making a positive impact.
Yeah.
So it just like fulfills you in so many levels. So I love that you share that as well. And so let's come on the other side now. Let's say that someone that is listening to us really resonates with your story and also some of the pain points they might be experiencing. Where do we start? How do you now help someone that feels that conflict, inner conflict, the life they're living is not really no longer aligning with them? They're probably feeling it in their health, finances, relationships, all these areas that are important to us. So how do we now start to really clarify what is that new identity that we want to embrace, so that we can be very intentional about the life that we want to create?
Well, I'm going to take it right back to the very start of the process. For me personally, as you just mentioned about integrity, for me, we can't take someone on a journey we haven't been on. You're absolutely correct when you say that. I teach from where I live. So for me, the very starting point is actually making sure that you find a coach or a mentor that is a fit for you, that is, you two absolutely have an energy, you have a connection, you are the right fit. For me, I don't work with someone I don't think I can help, right? So that's that integrity part of it. The next part from that is building that container, that trust, that place. My program personally is based on risk. It's based on taking that leap. It's based on stepping into that identity. So there has to be a very strong trust. Moving on from that, the process, the vision. We have to start with the vision. We have to have a vision of where you're going. And me personally, I have my clients make that vision huge. And not so it's scary, not so that it becomes like something that's like, oh my gosh, so that it takes its momentum. Like me leaving the UK and, leaving, burning the bridges. It's so that it takes on that momentum of moving forward, so that you show up every single day. You're always developing, you're always moving forward. So once we know the vision and we make it an impossible vision that's perfectly probable, I know that sounds counterintuitive, everybody who's listening, but it's really true. We make it like that, and then we look at, where are we at now? What self-concept do I have now? What is the self-concept that's limiting that potential? Where are the hidden inner beliefs, the barriers, the glass ceilings, if you like, whatever you want to call it, whatever you choose to call it. And then we go through that and identify them through to the breakthrough, and then the game plan, the growth plan. And that growth plan is the absolute integral part of the whole process, because the insight, the breakthrough, the identifying the identity that you need to step into is only one tiny part of it. That's the door opening to the breakthrough. That's how I look at it. The real breakthrough happens when you really carefully choose the pieces of that growth plan, where you choose the new structures that support the new identity, the new behaviors that support, the new actions that support that new identity. And that's all very carefully curated to that individual person.
Mm.
Is built upon tiny steps. So yes, we create this massive, massive vision, but then we put these nano tiny steps in place all the way along to get you to the place, ultimately, the life that you want to create, everything that you want to achieve.
Yeah.
And
I
it
love
all
your framework. It's so intentional, right? Because it all starts with that vision. And I so agree with you that sometimes that scares us, the vision. And oh my gosh, all the things that could potentially be, or it can actually excite us. I think that's based on our personality. Like for me, always, like I was always like that crazy person. That vision just like inspires me because I'm like, oh
yeah,
my
that's
goodness,
me.
this is all that could be. But then I think it's because it scares some people if it's a big vision, and obviously there's a reason why it's a vision, because if it was already part of your life, then you don't have to worry about it. It's already created, manifested. But when it's that big of a vision, I think the uncertainty comes from the how. People always think like they need to figure out the how, but that's exactly what you do, right? Piece all those intentional steps in place.
The growth plan.
We draw that map into the how.
Yeah,
That thing
yeah.
is going to come into life.
Elona, I always say that desire is on the other side of fear, right? We always have a healthy dose. It's like a side serving of fear, right? When I left the UK and I decided to give away all my possessions and sell everything and leave with 4 suitcases and my 7.5-year-old daughter, it wasn't because I was fearless. It wasn't because I didn't have any fear. I was terrified, actually, absolutely terrified. But the other side of that was that knowing, that absolute belief that if I bet on myself and I took that gambit, as I call it, the inner gambit, that move, then that was going to be the key to everything else opening up for me, right? And it really truly was. And I've seen it happen again and again and again and again. When you feel frightened and excited, that for me is the compass. So yes, clients are afraid, but my genius is in helping them harness that fear and harness that risk to get all of the
Yeah.
reward.
Bet on yourself, absolutely, and burn the boats. I also can relate to what you're saying based on my personal experience, because that just it shows commitment, right? Because you're going to be tested, as you said, in the journey of creating this new life. You're going to be tested. It's unknown. You're going to have moments, the peaks and the valleys of any growth journey that you grow into. There's peaks and valleys, right? You could be really
Yeah.
on the bottom, and you can be up on top again, and then you can fall back down again. I find that that's really the so true about life, business,
This
and
life,
yeah.
exactly. A heartbeat doesn't even stay in one line. We'd be dead.
Yes, I love it.
You
I,
know, it does this all the time as it speaks and flows. That's life. That's how life is supposed to be. If we have a safety net and we don't burn the bridges, we have a safety net. We're not taking a risk, really. It's
exactly.
you can always go back. But when you burn the bridges and you make that decision and that commitment to step into that future identity, there is no going back.
There is no, because you don't go back to your old you. You have already transformed and evolved. So this becomes a lot about you becoming that person that's going to create that vision. Look how things worked out. I love it. I mean,
Prepared to
I love that you also,
sacrifice in order to gain the advantage of the life that you actually want to move towards. That's really
yeah,
the bottom line.
yeah. And most people just want that within their comfort zones, and that's not how it works.
It can't
It's like,
happen in your comfort zone, Elona.
you can have your cake
There's
and
no
eat it
such
too.
thing. We can't grow inside a comfort zone, right? We can't. It's impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. I love your the comparison with the heart because I say the same thing. It's like, if everything's like, "Ooh, life would be so
We'd be
boring."
dead.
You know
You wouldn't
everything
want
that
to
would
achieve
happen when you
anything,
wake up in
right?
the
You're
morning.
just going to stay right here with this mediocre life, just rinse and repeat, wake up, have breakfast, go to work, come back, lunch is left half eaten at the desk. This mediocre life, that's not what we were put on this planet for.
Yeah. Oh gosh, absolutely. Well, Michelle, I think me and you can go on and on. It
Oh,
sounds
we
like it's
could.
such an amazing conversation, and we're so much alignment with even the way that we approach things personally. So, I'm gonna kind of ask you another question regarding your journey as an entrepreneur. Also, what are some lesson that you have learned as an entrepreneur that you feel will add value to someone else listening? And also a success tip that has worked for you. What can you share on both those 2 points?
The first thing, the key I would say is really stepping into the unknown. It is taking that move, as I say, I call it the inner gambit. It's actually my methodology. It's the phrase I coined. But for me, those decisions of bold moves. That's what takes you there. A
Mm.
success tip. I mean, I could give so many success tips, but I would really say believe in yourself. Really, truly believe in yourself. Bet on yourself. That has to be the ultimate. And if you don't have that yet, guys, if you don't really have that belief, like I didn't in the very beginning, I knew I had a little voice and it was telling me, and I didn't listen to it for a long time. Borrow someone else's belief. That's why we have coaches. That's why we have mentors. Elona and I are very similar. We have a way of seeing potential. We all have blind spots. That's why we have people in our lives. Borrow their belief because someone else, like my coach, you're an incredible coach, Michelle. No, I'm just being me. She said, that's my point, right? Borrow their belief until it becomes yours.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing advice and also a great success tip for sure. And where is it that people can continue the conversation with you, Michelle?
You can find me on my website, on any of my social media. It's Michelle Margaret Marquez.life. And you will only find me actually because it's a very odd name.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, it's a very unique name for sure. And the website's right on the screen. Definitely go just start a conversation with Michelle. She's one of our community experts. You'll find her inside our community at the Life School, but also beyond, right? I mean, if you resonate with anything she said today, I think there's so much value when you are also part of a community to really nurture relationships. So if you resonate with any of the message that was shared today on this show, definitely make that next connection step and start this
Yeah.
conversation, because at the end of the day it's always about the connection and aligning people with the right with the right people around you, just like Michelle said about the mentors, and also the new circles that you get to create as you move into this better version of yourself.
Yeah.
I found that surrounding myself with the right people that dream like me, that speak like me, that are, into this potential, that their message is kind of resonating based on where I'm trying to go in whatever phase or stage of life. I think it's really, really powerful. And even if you don't find, the circles of community in your local community, hello, in the virtual world now we get to connect globally. So you'll definitely find
Yeah.
people that resonate with you.
Absolutely. Reach out to me in the community. I'm very friendly, very approachable. You know, when you surround yourself with like-minded people who are all holding a mirror up to your greatness, you have 9 of those people, 10 of those people, whatever, how many people that is, it's very likely that you'll be the next one.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I like to end the show today. Thank you so much, Michelle. Great conversation. And I want to thank you for watching. And you know where to find our podcast on all our major podcast platforms and also all our social media channels. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you next time with another amazing guest and interview. Bye.